Yes, I
There we
teach.
go.
I've been teaching on Zoom I taught a lot of lessons on Zoom during the pandemic. So
Oh, that's yeah. You're better with Zoom than I am. Well, we heard the lovely voice tell us we're recording now. So thank you, Anthony Parker, for joining us today.
you're welcome. Happy to be
So
here.
we're happy to have you. So every so often we get a guest where I think it's a reach. So Scott and I have been fans of yours for I don't even know how long I've had you on my feed, but I love every single thing I've watched you do. As has Scott. And Scott said, let's see if we can get him on. And I said, he's too big. He's not going to want to go on our show. And you did. And I want to read to you what I wrote this morning about you, just
Oh,
to myself. When I watch your videos, I find two things that I think are really fantastic, um, which is humility and a generosity of spirit.
oh,
And I think you when people start discovering you or as they learn about you, you will go on your page and your YouTube feed, and you'll take, let's say I'll be biased. I'll say a Pete Townsend song because I'm a Who fanatic. And instead of saying Pete should have done this instead of this, and I could do it better, no, you talk about the beauty and the genius you find in our heroes, and then you break it down, and then you help people learn how they could do it themselves. And I think the energy of what you say is amazing, and the way you say I can tell it's organic. Like you have a fondness for the people you're connecting to your audience, and I think it's really nice.
trying.
Well, I think you're succeeding for what it's worth.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've done a few videos where I wasn't 100% positive, and it's funny because in some cases I've actually cringed when I saw the views go up.
Oh
You
no.
know, there's a couple of
Yeah.
videos out there that I've done where I check on them and I'm like, oh man, it's getting more views. But I don't want to
Right.
delete it because I'm a little, because, I get paid a tiny bit. Well, TikTok pays me a tiny bit. Facebook
Good.
up until, well, Facebook has been suddenly started paying me a ridiculous amount of money, which is now going way down because they're pulling back all this money. They're trying to, Facebook got desperate for new people, so they started offering creators like me ridiculous amount of money for per view of our reels, you know.
Wow.
But now I think the $1 billion they dedicated for this year is running low because all of a sudden they're changing the rules on us and they're lowering the amount and stuff. And but it was a nice it allowed me to decide to take the summer off of teaching guitar. But
Oh wow.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate what you're saying about the generosity of and humility. And the only reason why I'm like a little surprised is because I get accused of being arrogant all the time in my
Well,
videos.
well, I'll give you some negativity. Those are assholes who say that. No, I'm kidding. But
No, I get
that's
I the one of the biggest adjustments for me has been, and I'm still dealing with it. I still struggle with it. Has been the negativity that gets walloped on me on video after video. I
that's
get,
yeah. That's sad and interesting at the same time. You
well,
know. Oh,
someone
go on,
told
go on.
me someone told me a video I saw recently said that if you're not getting hate, that means you're not getting love either. No one's interested. So if you're getting out there, you're gonna get people who don't like you. And there's a lot of people like when you know I didn't understand it at first on TikTok, and then I started getting it. TikTok,
Yeah.
most of the people watching me are kids.
Oh, right. And there
They're
is something.
teenagers.
Yeah. There's something. It's just like the culture of a certain age group online. It's just nothing, to get on that keyboard and just spew out, something negative, something aggressive, because then, somehow you're going to get your dopamine rush if you get other people to buy into it, I suppose, or if you can, create a conversation where, ooh, on this guy who has a lot of followers and a lot of likes, I got noticed. I don't know, but
See,
I
but
don't know
the thing is that I've been doing this for not very long. I only started getting traction on TikTok is where it started. I'm assuming that's where you found me. I only
yeah.
started gaining traction a year last March. So
Okay.
I don't think of myself as being big in any stretch, in any way, shape, or form. But so when people start coming at me with like, that sucked, that was terrible, you played that wrong, that was
Wow.
that was horrible, your guitar's out of tune, you know, you're arrogant. I mean, just you are. I've come to appreciate comments like you look like Jordan Peterson just because it's a break from being told what an arrogant, crappy guitarist, and your tone is awful. God, roll down the treble on that guitar. What are you, an idiot? I don't mind when people when people are really nice about it, and some people are good at doing that. I don't mind
Right.
it as much, but when people are like, "You moron, what is the matter with you? What do you have no ear? How can you?" And I make the mistake of commenting because to me it's not gotten through my head yet that to them it's like, ooh, exciting, I got this creator who's got a lot of followers to notice me and comment on and reply to my
Yeah.
comment. To me it's not, it hasn't gotten through my head that that's part of what's going on there. And so more and more lately I'm just like, I see a comment that upsets me, I'm just like, I'm going to ignore this one.
That's what talk about the ultimate catch 22, because a good creator, and even more so a good creator artist like you, right? If you're a musician, you're an artist, will be by definition probably more sensitive to comments like that than if you were, if you're someone who fixed carburetors, you might coincidentally, and I always go to those videos to fix things in my house, right? And that person might coincidentally be a very sensitive person, but that field does not automatically attract sensitive people. But I know you write, and you don't just play other people's music, you create your own. So by definition,
once upon a time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I am very thin-skinned. Like right
Me
now,
too.
you have the power to ruin my night. You wouldn't do it. It's not in your nature. But you could say, why is your shirt bunching up like that? Do you have a pot belly, Dave? Which I'm very sensitive about right now. Yeah.
Let me tell you about that.
Yeah,
I've been told, I've had people tell me, why are you wearing a V-neck? You got gray hair sticking out your shirt. I had this one guy, and the funniest story.
You got a full head of hair, so you're in good shape. You're good.
Yeah.
Look at this crap. This is horrible.
But I'm the one area I'm lucky is that I know for pretty certain that I'm gonna die with a full head of hair.
Yeah,
it's gonna be gray because I'm gonna be, by the time I'm in my mid 50s, I'm gonna be full on gray. But
yeah.
I had this one guy, and this was Facebook. Facebook shocked me because TikTok, when I started crossing over and posting things on Facebook,
right.
I got a whole different level of hate.
Really?
But it was different. TikTok, you could tell it was experienced trolling. These people were just like, they knew what they were doing. They trolled people every day. Facebook was more like, who the hell are you and how dare you enter my domain? Because they weren't used to see, and it took me a while to realize they weren't used to seeing reels. This was new to them. All of a sudden one morning,
right.
People are scrolling down their news feed and reels are popping up.
Yes.
1 minute or 30-second reels are popping up, and they don't understand the format. They don't understand that it's 30 seconds. You got to throw an idea out there, play a little something, and then get out. They don't understand. They were like, what is this? They've never been on TikTok because they're not young. They're not kids. So like people were just like, personal, really getting personal, some of these angry comments. And there's this one guy, and he was just like, not only was he giving me hate comments, but he stalked me on my personal profile and
Wow.
started trolling my things that I was saying, even because I guess I had it set to public, my any comment, any post that
Yeah.
I made. So he was commenting and trashing me in my personal world and my personal profile. And one of the things he said to me was, was fine. I understand that you're going to keep making these videos, but can you please wear a long sleeve shirt? Your arms are gross. But check
So
this out. That's not the tipper. All of a sudden, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, about 3 weeks ago, his comments got nice,
wow.
and and he started commenting honest questions or random comments on videos, like, "Oh, I like that song," or "Oh, that was by blah blah blah," or da da da. And then about a week ago, he says, "Gee, I really wish I could get you to teach me guitar lessons."
Wow.
I'm like,
So
and I didn't say anything. I
no,
didn't
you
reply to him and
can't.
say,
You
"What is
can't.
your
Yeah.
deal, dude?" I wanted to say, "What the heck is your deal? You were trashing
That's
me, and you trolled me on my personal account, and now you're like acting like that never happened." But that's, you know, that's
that's
how.
interesting. You're reminding me that we had a tiny bit of that, a smaller version. And I think it's what you said. It's that people don't understand the technology and the algorithm and what Facebook was doing. Because for our little show, we had a few people sort of angry with us. And there was a perception that somehow we were making tons of money off of
Right,
them. You know,
exactly.
yeah, because if we do a show, often we'll boost a promotion for our show or something like that, and I'll invest the $14, or Scott will invest the $14 or whatever that Facebook wants, just so more people can. The irony is that our show is a big pile of love. That's all it is. And so I just want as many people as possible to see that we like to meet people. We like to learn the stories of nice people like you. And um, and we got someone angry as though I woke up at 3 a.m. and personally emailed him, and I think it was he just didn't understand that it's just not how it works. But even I know people who think that when, say, I post something on Facebook, I've sent it to them, like older folks, like in their 70s and
Right.
up, and they think that that's just how it works, and I know my kids mock me for my insanely slow fingers when I'm doing this, and they'll take a remote out of my hand or my phone. Dad, I'll do it for you. So I'll be in that
Right.
position someday too. But yeah, so I guess there is a lot of that, and it hadn't occurred to me. But yeah, what you're doing, I suppose, is risky on some level. But what I'd like to do right now for those folks who aren't familiar with you, again, your name is Anthony Parker. I think you know that, but they might not. Is
Sure.
that in my feed? I get this, and I'd love to sort of break this down a little bit. I'll make it up. Here's an easy one. I don't know if you've done a video on it, but let's say like the Stairway to Heaven would be a great
Right. I
example.
have.
Okay. So you'll come on, and why I'm surprised, although after you explain it, not surprised, is that the words I hear come out of your mouth, and I'll make it up as I go along. A lot of we all know Stairway to Heaven, but the real genius and creativity of Jimmy Page when he recorded that iconic riff was, and then you go into it and you'll break it down. Maybe you'll talk about an alternate tuning, or you'll talk about like his fingering technique. And what I love is that, something that's been in the consciousness of people of a certain age, or age range, I should say. And you'll break it down. Like I remember once Losing You. I did my best to figure out a dumbed down way to play Losing You, because I am what's his name? Not Keith Richards, the other one, the one who was in the Faces. Ron Wood. I'm more of
Okay.
a Ron Wood guy than a Keith Richards guy. What Ron Wood did on that, I love. But you take those things and you let us know that there's so much more to it than we might have realized.
Hmm.
What was it that got you to start doing those? Because it's real, in my view. It's funny, it's refreshing, and I only see positivity in it. That's I get
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I I'm curious. Do you happen to know offhand how long you've been seeing my videos for?
No, no, I'm going. So first of all, I got rid of TikTok because I was watching it too much, so I erased it.
Sure,
So
understand.
I would, yes, I would be getting your stuff. I would guess either on YouTube because I'll watch their version of
Oh,
it,
okay.
and Facebook, obviously. You know, if it comes in on the Reels, and between those two, I'm sure, and Instagram. I'll watch
Oh,
Reels
so
directly
you've
on
seen me
Instagram.
actually more on them than TikTok. Okay,
Never on TikTok. Never
okay,
on
that
TikTok.
explains a lot. That explains a lot. Yeah. So you haven't seen the evolution of my channel
No, no, not at all. Then.
because it didn't start that way.
Okay.
What you see now, the videos that I do now that you're seeing currently are quite a bit different than how it all started. It went through, when I first came on, I was all about pushing my original music.
Okay.
And that was my goal. And I was trying to figure out ways to get people to watch videos when I was talking about my original music. And I did a few videos on teaching guitar, just basic, like, here's how to get better at making chords, or here's a strum pattern that all guitar players make, right? And none of those videos got much of any views, right?
Right.
And I had actually already knew how to edit videos pretty well, because I had spent a couple years making videos on YouTube trying to get traction and having no luck.
Okay.
So it started like that, and then one day I did a video about I saw a video where this person was like name that song or something like that, and he played on
Okay.
just a music of I don't know, a tape deck or something. He played a couple seconds of a song,
Okay.
and right at the end of the video, and I realized, oh, he got you to wait to the end, so and comment, both wait to the end and comment, which pushed his video out really big. So I decided I'm going to steal that, but I'm going to change it, and I'm going to do what's called name that guitar solo. And I did this, and
Oh,
I created these two characters. One's an announcer, and the other is the clone of the announcer. And the announcer makes fun of the clone, calls him my clone, and makes little jokes about the clone all the time. But the clone plays a bit of the guitar solo, just the first few notes of guitar solo. And the
right.
announcer does an introduction, jibes the clone a little bit, and then says, okay, play the solo, and gives him funny nicknames and stuff. And there's a little banter back and forth. And then the clone plays the little bit of the solo, and then people guess. And this video blew up.
Really?
It got like I went from, my videos were getting 300 or 400 views each. Suddenly this video got 10,000, then 20,000, then 30,000, then 40,000 views. So I made like a ton of them.
Wow.
And I started making mainly those. And then I had this other idea to do this thing called covers versus originals, where I had two characters played by me, actually three, and a mediator and two guys arguing about which version of this song was better, the cover or the original, right? And the first one of those did really good, and the second one did even better, and so I made a bunch of them, and that process kind of continued. But what would always happen on TikTok is that after you make like 7 or 8 of the same concept, TikTok starts diminishing. It starts pulling you back. It doesn't push it out as much,
Wow.
because they're like, oh, because they want you to change what you're doing, or whatever reason, whatever purpose it is. Even though it'll have the same analytics, they'll pull it back. And so I was like, great, I got to come up with a new concept now. So, and then I came up with this and that and the other. And then one day, what gave me the idea was I saw this to where I am now. I saw these videos, a couple of them. There's this one guy who's a drummer, and he said, I'm going to tell you why Ringo Starr is a genius. In the song Come As You Are, Come Together, he could have done this, and he just plays a straight drum beat for Come Together. But this is what he did, and he showed you the Come Together drum beat, which is a really cool drum beat, very memorable.
Right.
And I saw that video had like 150,000 views or 500,000 views or something, and I was like, huh. I specifically looked because I don't want to be too much of a copycat, right? So I
Right.
looked, even though it's all over TikTok, all over social media, people copy what you're doing. So I looked around and I didn't find anybody who had done a guitar-based "Why This Guy Is a Genius." So I was like,
Okay.
oh, so I did "Why David Gilmour Is a Genius," and that was, I
Right.
think, I'm pretty sure that was my very first one. And I said, this is the intro to the song "Dogs" by Pink Floyd, and it's this really cool rhythm guitar intro, and I played it, and that video blew up. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
And so then I thought, okay, let's try "Why Keith Richards Is a Genius." And I did that, and that one blew up even bigger. I did "Angie" by the Rolling Stones, and that exploded. This was back in like November, October, something like that,
Up 21.
of 2021. But here's the thing though, all along the way, I would get at least, on each of those videos that I'd make, I'd get at least 20 comments of people saying, "How is that genius? That's not genius. You have low standards for genius. All he did was this. All he did was a little, oh, so now this, one after another. This guy calls everyone a genius." So finally I evolved away from and the videos where I said this guy's a genius the views started dipping. They started dipping. So I was like, okay, so they're starting TikTok is not too happy about this one. Of course, around that time is when I also started posting on Facebook.
Okay.
And I started posting on YouTube Shorts, and my videos actually finally started doing well on YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
So
I think that's where I see you. I think
yeah.
so.
So it evolved, and then finally, ultimately what I realized is that, okay, if I get up there, well, another one of the things that occurred to me along the way is, what if I put chord boxes?
Right.
Like, I don't present it as this is a guitar lesson, so to speak, but in case you're interested, look, here's a chord box. And then, of course, that eventually it started becoming, well, in case you're interested, here's some tablature as well, and a chord box.
Right.
And then the videos would do really well. And then I got tired of all the negativity about calling people a genius. And I just decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to, because one thing I was going to say is that if I just play a song, nobody cares.
Right.
If I play a cover song, unless you've got 500,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube or whatever, nobody cares if you play a cover song. No one. It just gets lost in the algorithm. But
if you're Johnny Depp, people.
Exactly, if you've got hundreds of thousands of followers. But if it's a short reel, if it's a short video, and I say blah 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 blah, and then I play a song, it suddenly does a lot better. And I was like, well, maybe I should, so let's take these different elements. So I'll talk about a song I love. I'll play a little bit of it, and I'll put little chord boxes or tablature up there for you to learn it. And that means, so then it's not so specific where I'm always saying this, why is this guy a genius? So maybe the algorithms of the different platforms won't get mad at, oh, that's too much like the last video, but rather it's just this open-ended thing where I'm talking about this band today or this band, and it improved it. It worked. And on TikTok, they don't all do as well as the first couple did, but if I hit like a good song that has, like, for example, the song "Stone in Love" by Journey?
Sure. Yeah.
I was sitting on this video for a couple months that I had created, "Stone in Love" by Journey, one day, where I just talk about my favorite Journey song, "Stone in Love," and here's the intro. And I had no idea. I thought, no one's going to like this, because it wasn't a big hit of theirs. It was a song that their fans loved, and it got some radio play, but it wasn't like a high charting super hit. So I didn't bother rushing out to post it. Then I finally posted, and it got like 300, 400,000 views on TikTok. It totally blew up. It did really well on YouTube. It did really well on Facebook. I was like, wow, people were really into this song. But so yeah, this whole, I don't know. So that's how that sort of that idea evolved, and and then I just started developing it from there, being a little more into, I started moving things more into teaching. And that the other reason why I moved in that direction, because if you go back and you watch my old TikTok videos, they were all over the place.
Right, right.
I was doing the name the guitar solos over the summer. I did this thing called Summer Riff Madness, where I pitted riffs together, like which riff is better, and I'd play like Layla. Well, the finals, it was a bracket, like March Madness, it was
Yeah,
brackets,
yeah, yeah.
and they'd face each other, and then the winner would face the winner, and so on and so forth. The final was Layla versus Stairway to Heaven, and I honestly, in a million years, I would have never picked Layla because I'm not a huge fan of that song.
It's a
But
no-brainer in my mind. Yeah, yeah.
but
I agree
man,
with you.
people love Layla. Wow, people love Layla, and of course, no one wanted to vote against Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven, of course, won. But I did that, and then there's a bunch of videos where I ask a question. What's the greatest concert you've ever been to? Or have you ever seen a concert where the opening act was better than the blah blah blah? And then I tell
Right.
them my version of the answer, and so it was all over the place. But I kind of started refining it down to the specific thing that you're seeing more now, because Facebook started paying me for it, and
So let me ask.
Facebook liked these.
Yeah. So when I watch it, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like the if you go from the part I missed to the only part I know, it feels like it's organically you. Maybe, and I don't know your earlier stuff, but do you feel like you've sort like if we were to take out the fact that you're getting paid and people are watching it, do you feel like you've found your own personal groove for content creation where it
Yeah,
feels
I've found my voice more or less.
that's a
I
better way
def
to put it? Yeah,
I definitely have found my voice now. Organically, me, I mean, I'm playing a role.
yeah,
I try to deliver it in a way that's like me talking naturally. In fact, I will do take after take, and sometimes I'll be like, oh no, 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 that take was too much of the character and not enough of kind of my personality coming through. But it's hard. It's
yeah.
hard. And I didn't know how
I
hard it was. I have much more appreciation for YouTubers I see now who seem like they're talking really, really like naturally.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah,
I watch the videos, I know that's not how I naturally would talk, except for occasionally when I'm talking to my students, when I'm teaching guitar,
right,
because I teach guitar full time, except for the summer, I'm taking it off. When I'm talking to my students, I sometimes will speak that way.
right.
I'll sometimes be really um, enthusiastic, and I'll get really like animated about what I'm saying. But it's not necessarily just my conversational style. That's not how I would. If you're talking to me, if you talk to me enough, like a close friend of mine, Matthias, who's an engineer and has engineered some of my songs, he knows it's an act. He knows it's a character. Like
Right.
he knows it's not purely my natural way of talking. He knows it's sort of my TikTok or my YouTube, whatever sort of persona, so to speak.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, overall though, I know it's not permanent. I mean, you say, did I find my voice? Yeah, I did, and it's still got to evolve because evolve or die, right? You can't. You got to change, and I get scared. One of the things that scares me the most is what if I run out of ideas?
Yeah.
Or what if YouTube and TikTok and Facebook stop pushing this type of video like TikTok does? What if these
Yeah.
other, although, and I'm less worried since TikTok, I'm noticing while they don't all blow up, if I hit on a song, like I just put out a video on, which I was super excited about, because who knew Joe Walsh is really, really popular
Well,
in
yeah.
the by the way, if you want to ask me a question, you can cut me off. I'm long-winded. I'm a very talkative person.
I'm loving this. You keep
Okay.
going. You
Okay.
keep going.
Joe, one of the things I discovered is that in the what's it called, the social media sphere, Joe
Yeah.
Walsh moves the needle big time.
Really?
He moves the needle. Joe Walsh moves the needle. The Eagles move the needle. Rolling Stones move the needle. Like those three is much or more than anything. Led Zeppelin, yeah, but not as much as the Rolling Stones. The Beatles, they move the needle too, but like the Rolling Stones, like people when Stones fans, see a video about the Rolling Stones, they're just like, yeah, Rolling Stones. Like it's almost been hard for me to make a video about the Rolling Stones that doesn't do well.
Wow.
And Joe Walsh. And the reason I brought up Joe Walsh is I just put out this video a couple days ago about Funk 49, the James Gang Joe Walsh song. And
Right.
I kind of knew. I was like, this one's going to do pretty good. This one's going to do pretty good.
And I
have a
guess
feeling.
it did.
And it did. It's still growing on all of the social media, on everywhere I've posted it. It's still growing. TikTok. It's interesting. What the interesting thing about this, is the way these algorithms work. TikTok's algorithm is fast. It's like bang fast. Your video either blows up, or sometimes a video will not do that well, and then all of a sudden it'll blow up. But usually when that's happened for me, it's because someone will comment on the video a controversial statement, and then someone else will disagree with them, and then it'll start a comment war. And all of a sudden, some video I made 4 weeks ago or a week or two ago starts blowing up and I'll look at the notifications, and there'll be like 2 or 3 people going back and forth at it with each other.
That's interesting. So you must have a lot of pressure in your life, and I hadn't thought about that coming into today. So I think very naively thought, all right, he's he wakes up one morning, he thinks, I love Joe Walsh, I'll make a Joe Walsh video, and he just puts a lot of love into a Joe Walsh video, and then he goes to bed, and next week, you know what, Frampton comes alive with the voice box, I'll do him next. But no, for your line of work, it's a lot of pressure, because let's say you make one every 3 days, and I'll get into that if we have time, then there's all this pressure. How did it do? How is it being received? How do I have to tweak the next one I do in response to what I've learned about my Peter Frampton video? People are angry with me. Who the hell are you to talk about a voice box or something like that, right? So do you have pressure? Like,
well,
literally,
I'll see your pressure and I'll raise you. I mean, it's layers and layers, because first of all, it's not one video every 3 days. Flip that around. It's 3 or 4 videos every 1 day.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, but it's not all the same kind of video. I have a few different kinds. I still make videos where I just talk to the camera.
Okay.
Where I'll talk about a song, I'll talk about a band. I did, videos where I talk about Led Zeppelin a little bit. Those tend to do pretty well. If I just go, if I just say something about Led Zeppelin, random thought I had about Led Zeppelin, those tend to do really well. And I don't just think, oh, I'm going to make a video about this guy. I'm like, I say, I'll give you a little tidbit.
Yeah.
So last week, on one day, I did the following videos: Silent Lucidity by Queensryche, Roundabout by Yes, Old Man by Neil Young, I Stay Away by Alice in Chains, Fire and Rain by James Taylor, Hitchin' a Ride by Boston, and Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. I filmed those all in one day.
Wow.
Just one after another, bing, bang, bing, bing, bing. And then the day before that, I did, no, it's not on that page. That was acoustic guitar. That was a bunch of acoustic guitar songs. And then the day before that, I did Black Dog, Led Zeppelin on electric guitar. Cinnamon Girl, Neil Young, 10 Years Gone, Led Zeppelin, Still Loving You, Scorpions, Funk 49, which I put out. The Nile song by Pink Floyd, this old Nile song, the old song by Floyd, Born on the Bayou, Creedence, and the silly video I did about Blue Oyster Cult that I have to redo because I screwed up. That's the thing that really drives me nuts, is when I mess up and I have to redo a video. Every now and then that happens. But
Now, do you have other people with you, or are you, so you're the talent, you're the editor, you're the promoter, you're
I'm
the
doing it all
everything.
myself right now. Yeah, I'm doing it all. I had a friend, my
Wow.
friend Matthias has offered to do sound stuff to help me by mastering the audio, but he can't keep up with the how quickly I have to put videos out. You
That
know,
and is the fear that if the quantity of your content decreases, you become irrelevant?
well, yeah. So TikTok, as long as you're posting once a day on TikTok, you're okay. As
Okay.
long as you're posting once a day on YouTube Shorts, you're okay. And ultimately, as long as you're posting on Facebook once a day, you're okay. But here's the rub.
Yeah.
So you were talking about me getting paid. So real quick, see how quickly I can tell you about this. Facebook started this thing called the Facebook Reels bonus program,
Okay.
and I got an invite. It's a random thing. They don't invite everybody, and that means they pay you per view. And for the first, 4 months on that program, I was making almost enough money I was almost equaling what I make teaching guitar. Actually, I was.
Okay.
I was equaling the amount of money I make teaching guitar. So it was like, wow, this is real money that I could live on. And I can convince my wife that it's okay for me to quit teaching guitar and I can just make these videos, right? And because they had this weird thing where they start by paying $14 per 1,000 views, which is a lot. And then they drop it down. Once you get to 10,000 views, they drop it down to, $2 per 1,000 views, which is still a lot. And then after 1 million views, they drop it down to $1.60 per 1,000 views. And then after 2 million, they drop it down to $1.40. And then after whatever, or something like that. So, and it was a lot. It was equaling a lot of, I'm not going to go into exacts because, it's not, but it was more than, it was in the thousands. It was in the low thousands, but still it was in the thousands. It wasn't like Facebook or TikTok. I make $60-$70 a month on the creator fund. I was making way more than that on Facebook. And that was great. And I was like, oh my God, this is the break I've been waiting for, because I want to do this. I want to do this for a living. I love making videos as much as it grates on me, the negativity that comes my way. I love making the videos. But then they're in 30 period intervals, 30 days.
Okay.
30 days. 30 days, and each time the 30 days would start, the whole amount, the dollar amount would go back up to $14 for the first 10,000 views, and it would cycle like that. And I was like, wow, this is great, I'm making so much money. And I did that 4 straight months, and then it all changed. They pulled that way back, and they pulled it back to 30 cents per 1,000 views, which is like basically way less than I've been getting. And they give you these challenges, and this is why Facebook, there's a lot of pressure on Facebook. They have these challenges. If you get 5 videos with 100 views each, you get an extra $20. And if you get 10 videos with 500 views each, you get a $100 bonus. And then if you put out 15 videos with 1,000 views each, you get a $1,000 bonus. Or 10,000 views each, right? 10,000 views each, you get a $1,000 bonus. And if you put out 25 videos with 50,000 views each, you get a $3,000 bonus, right? But here's the thing about Facebook algorithm. When I was telling you before about the algorithms, it moves really slow.
Okay.
Like my videos will keep getting views, but it'll
swell over time.
It'll swell, but it'll take a while. And once that 30 days is up, they start you over. I think, in fact, there's a chance based on some groups. I'm in Facebook groups. I join groups to find out more information about everything I'm doing. And I'm in a Facebook group on Reels. And it's possible that this is it. That once this 30-day period is up, I'm cut off. And I just found this out today. So today's been a great day. But But I'm prepared for I've been preparing myself for this. It just means that I have to figure out. I'm sorry. I mean, I get like, and then I start yelling. It just means I
Yeah,
realize I don't have to yell. I
it's all
yell when
good.
I teach because I'm like, because I think that people are far away from me. But it just means
I'm
that
3,000 miles away, so it's good.
it just means that I have to figure out other ways to monetize my content, and it's it's a process, and I'm pretty clueless, but I'm learning and I'm trying to figure that out. But so yeah, so that's where the pressure comes in, where basically I feel like I have to post as much of my A level content, like the stuff I'm
Yeah,
really sure will do well. I have to post it soon so that it has a week. It has like a week and a half to breathe, right?
right.
And all of this on top of the fact that I have a finite amount of time. I mean, I have more now because it's summer, but like I said, it's possible this Facebook paying me thing is about to end. So
And
that
then you
might
have to
not even
teach again,
matter. What's that?
and then you lose 20, 30 hours a week to teaching, right?
Once summer is over, yes. In the fall, I'm going to go back to teaching full time. Teaching, well, I don't know. We'll see. It depends. It depends to a certain point on what I can figure out over the summer. Like if I can build my Patreon page, and get a lot of patrons, or if I can, and Facebook, they've offered me that way of monetizing where it's subscribers. It's the same as Patreon. Do you know what Patreon is?
No, no,
Patreon is a thing where people pay you $5 a month. People who like you, they pledge
really.
$5 a month, and it's all over YouTube. If you watch YouTube creators, you'll hear them say, "And please join my Patreon community." They never say page; they always say community because that makes people feel like they're
It's
joining
warmer.
a
That's a warm and
club.
fuzzy. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so if you get like 1,000 patrons giving you $5 to $10 a month, you've got $5,000 to $10,000 a month suddenly of income, right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the big ways. They also they endorse products, and I'm trying. I mean, I have now two products wanting me to endorse them. One of them just wants to give me a guitar and to
Okay.
endorse to do a review on the guitar, which I've agreed to. But because they've said that it can be an honest review, I don't have to lie. And then the
Right.
other one is
Right.
like a guitar teaching app, like like that you use, and that one they're offering to pay, but we're negotiating a rate, so we'll see. And I asked for quite a bit of money because I'm like, well, I'm going to be promoting a product that kind of is going to do what I'm trying to do, which is teach people guitar.
Right.
So
Right. You're kind
and
of in
and
competition with the app.
right, but I figured, but my wife brought that up, but then when we discussed it, she kind of said, but you know what, it could actually be fine because that's probably more for beginners, and your real group of people is intermediate people, and but and there's the other thing. That's what I was saying. What I was saying though is that I've got a kid. I've got a beautiful, wonderful 4-year-old who's almost 5, and I watch him in the evenings. I watch him in the morning before I take him to school. My wife
Right.
leaves earlier. She wears the pants in the family. She works full time at a independent school. That's what California calls private schools, and she's a music
Okay.
teacher.
Oh,
And so she
great.
works. Yeah, she does really well. And I teach full time, but full time part time because I don't teach. I don't work 40 hours a week as a guitar teacher, but
Yeah.
it's concentrated because it's all groups where you're teaching guitar, and that's but during the school year it is really hard for me to find time to make my videos, or enough time to make my videos. It's
Right.
very, very challenging, and once September hits, it's suddenly, I mean, I'm going to try to get such a massive surplus of content made over the summer
You could slowly release it.
so that
Right.
I can, yeah, so that I can, so I mean, it'd be nice if I had like 60 short videos in the tank, ready.
Yeah.
But so that's the pressure involved. But at the same time, I love editing videos. I love making them. I don't want to stop doing that. It would be nice if I could find, if the areas where I'm hoping to find help eventually, once I can justify it, are
Yeah.
are managing my social media campaign, managing my social media, basically.
It's funny what I mentioned to Scott recently. I didn't tell you this, but the Guinness that you saw me sipping, which is now empty, was
Yummy.
from yesterday. I sat in front of this iPad, which is how we're recording these days, until Scott figures out our better stuff. I was waiting for you yesterday at 5:30, and
Uh-oh.
I texted Scott. He's like, Dave, I think it was for Tuesday. And I said, and I looked at the email and said, oh, you're right. And then we went out to dinner. I said, I'm going to meet you up for dinner now. And his wife said, you need someone. I said, I do. And one of the things I've thought of is either at a local college or a high school, just get an intern who would be really good at such things. Because, like in my day job is I'm a lawyer. And there's no way I could fully manage my own calendar alone. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
And if you're
Right.
doing, if your content is 2, 3, 4, even 5 videos that you're thinking of building, editing, I mean, to put all those out, to manage them, you might be able to get free help, because in exchange for training a high school kid who could do this in their sleep anyway, because they're so good at
Right.
social media, and you give them training and a letter of recommendation, and they
Right.
benefit from
Right.
it because they learn from a real creator. You benefit from it because you have them do something. Your skill set, as I've personally seen, is making wonderful videos, right? And maybe your skill set is less about pushing it out onto social media. And if you could get a high school kid or like a local college kid to give you 4, 5, 6, 10 hours a week, and they'll be thrilled, because you might even be able to get them credit for it in school. If you have a local community college, maybe
Yeah.
you give them 2 credits, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I
because
need.
it's,
I need.
oh, I know it. I'm calendaring is not my skill
Well,
set.
the calendar. So the I actually have a system. There's an app called, or a website called Trello, and it's perfect for
I've heard of
content
that.
creation.
I've
Trello.
heard
I
of it.
found it on a TikTok video. Trello, you just put, because that's where I track the videos I want to make, and then the videos I've made, I've filmed, and then the videos that I've edited and then posted, blah blah blah. My thing, that what I feel like I really need help with is someone who can look at everything that I've got, because I've got, like, I'm approaching 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've got 63,000 subscribers on TikTok, and I'm at 20. I'm approaching 30,000 followers on
Facebook.
Facebook, and I'm like, okay, it's I if I saw another creator who had this going on and they were growing, continuously growing, I would think, hey, you should be able to monetize that somehow, right? And I
Right.
should. It's challenging with Reels, because see, with Facebook, with YouTube, it's easy because they do 4 or 5 minute videos. So it's easy when it's a 5 minute video. It's easy to say, hey, join my Patreon community and subscribe to my channel, and oh, I'm doing this, by the way, and do this, da 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 da. But on a 35-second reel, you can't do that.
That's
I can't fit
interesting.
that in. I can't fit in a plug. I can't plug, because I need that 3 seconds for, I'm having trouble fitting in all the other stuff into like 40. I like my videos to never be more than 45 seconds. That's my max
Right.
video
You know
size.
what's you know what's funny? So you are in 1885. I know you're in California right now, right?
Yes.
So you're one of those folks who moved out to California. I just watched a special on this, not for the gold rush, but when they were like giving people land and trying to get people to farm and stuff like that. You're literally in the wild, wild west right now,
Yeah.
because as much as you're trying to learn it, you're trying to get a bullseye on a moving target, because social media is evolving so quickly. If we were having this conversation, I don't know, say 7 years ago, people would be laughing at you if you were talking about having a job on social media, but it's the real thing. And it's very quickly replacing the more traditional television and, advertising, social media and media. My son is just today started an internship for a media company.
Mm.
But it's changing so fast.
Yes,
So
and actually, what I believe, and maybe this is arrogant of me, I've been accused of being arrogant, but I think in some cases I'm training the algorithm. Like for YouTube
yeah,
Shorts, I was posting shorts on YouTube just like the ones I post today, and they did nothing. They did not do well at all. Yet all of a sudden, the videos I started posting started taking off.
right.
And the same concept that I was posting a week prior did nothing. Out of the blue, they started taking off. So I think the people who consume it started being like, oh, now I kind of get what he's getting at here. Oh,
Well,
I
that
get
makes
what he's.
sense because while you're in your home office or your home studio, probably, you're trying to figure out how to make the YouTube gods happy, right?
Yeah.
And the Facebook gods happy, and the Instagram gods happy, and the TikTok gods happy. The YouTube gods, the TikTok gods, and the Instagram gods are then saying, all right, for the last 18 months, we have been able to monetize videos that look and sound like this. Now we're noticing the world is changing. If we want to keep monetizing videos, we need to push them out this way. And maybe we think we need the way they look and sound to go from this to this.
And
So there,
this is exactly what I'm praying. And my
yeah,
intuition, my instinct, every time I think about these things, my instinct just says, keep making videos, keep making videos. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about views. Don't worry about the Facebook bonus
yeah,
ending. Keep making videos, because my instinct is that YouTube and TikTok and Facebook are ultimately going to come up with a fair way to pay short reels.
right,
Because
because
currently they're trying to figure it out, because they know reels are big. They know
right.
that it's a growing market.
Because
And
you sit on your phone and you just do this. All
you
right.
just, yeah. And people want to be on their phone more than they want to be on their desktop nowadays. So
Yeah, absolutely.
even if you're not watching short videos, you might prefer the vertical format, you know,
Yeah,
because you want to hold your phone vertical, and you don't want it to be like a little sliver in the middle that it is when you watch a YouTube video and hold your phone vertical, right? So
yeah.
I'm hoping that YouTube and Facebook and TikTok are all kind of looking at how to pay their, because till now they don't know how, because they can't put in-stream ads. They can't interrupt a short with an ad. You can't, because people, it's 30
Yeah,
seconds. You can't interrupt it. People are just going to scroll to the next video. TikTok has learned the hard way that people don't watch their ads. They just
yeah.
scroll. So you can't necessarily, but so they're trying, like Facebook is experimenting with banner ads, and I have that where I have ads enabled. So every now and then one of my videos will have a little banner ad for, like, ARK investing or something like that, and it has not made me a single penny yet. It says make more money on your reels by activating banner ads, and I did that, and I check it every day, and it always says $0, 42
That's interesting.
impressions, 15 impressions, 59 impressions, $0. So they haven't figured out what's the right ad to show to my followers. But YouTube pays better than TikTok for their creator fund for
Right.
shorts reels. They pay almost double TikTok does. And TikTok starting soon, I believe, is going to pay any creator who has over 100,000 followers, which I do not have yet, a percentage of their ad revenue, rather than this one amount.
So what's interesting, and then I'm gonna freak you out. We've been going almost an hour right now, and it
Yeah, I
feels
know.
like
I
10
noticed.
minutes. Yeah.
I'm
So
long-winded, but go ahead.
no, no, no. This is every show we've ever had. They fly. The shows fly. So we've got you trying to figure out the YouTube gods and all the other social media gods. The YouTube gods are trying to figure out how to monetize. Then you've got let me think, the Chevys and the Buicks of, I don't know if Buick still exists, the Teslas of the world, trying to figure out how do we best monetize our product using social media. So everyone's trying to figure it out. We're all at the whims of 15-year-olds playing on their phones, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's neat stuff. I got to tell you, this has been one of the most interesting shows we've had in a long time.
Well, I'm glad. I was worried that I was a little worried because we haven't talked much about like playing the guitar, and
Oh, well, we could do another. I would love to have you back. You want to do a part 2 at some point?
Sure, definitely. This is fun. As you can probably tell, I'm a talkative person. So, and I'm happy to. And I've got a year and a half worth of like stuff in my brain, and I can only tell so much to my wife because she's got all her own stuff going on. And,
right. That was good self-editing with that S sound too, by the way. I did use the A word today, and I'm going to get yelled at for that because we're on cable now too. I am known to drop many F-bombs and S-bombs.
Oh, I have to be careful. I can't say any of that on Facebook. Because they're paying me. I'm very rated PG in my videos. Sometimes I'll say, something close to that, but.
Oh, I get yelled at all the time because I like to drop F-bombs, but I was relatively good today. I caught myself with the A word. So when people, let me wrap up now. When people want to find you, do they just look up Anthony Parker on all those social media platforms, or Anthony Parker Guitarist?
It's tricky because on Facebook I'm still Anthony Parker and the Near Life Experience.
I saw that. Okay.
Which is basically because I'm obsessed with videos about near-death experiences, and I thought, near-death experience, near-life experience. Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
So
that is.
So that's where I came up with the name. But there's an old rock band called the Near Life Experience, so I'm trying to phase it out. They weren't famous or anything, but so, and then there's on TikTok, I'm Anthony Parker EXP.
Okay.
And on YouTube, I'm still Anthony Parker and the Near Life Experience. But my website is anthonyparkerexp.com. So ultimately, I get scared to I don't want to change. What if I change the name to EXP on all of them and then my videos stop getting pushed? I don't know, but eventually everything's going to switch over to Anthony Parker EXP. It's tricky because there's that basketball player. He's retired now, so it's probably not going to matter as much anymore. But Anthony Parker, Tony Parker, who played for the Spurs. And, so when you type in Anthony Parker, there's a lot of us out there. And the domain name anthonyparker.com is really expensive, but I add EXP at the end and suddenly it's cheap. So,
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Guitar Tales, $11.99 a month. That's how I came up with the name.
Nice.
So, well, this was a wonderful time and a wonderful show. And I will reach out to you offline. I would love to do a part 2, and we'll talk guitar for the next one as an adjunct to this show. This was just beyond fascinating.
Awesome. Fantastic. Right. Wait. So David? Dave.
Cohen. Yes.
Cohen. Yes. Right on, David. It was nice talking to you. I look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Absolutely. Take care.